Hi there, we are going to start learning prefixes, suffixes, and roots and figuring out how we can apply those meanings to difficult vocabulary words. So first of all, just as a quick review, hopefully you know where a prefix goes in a word. It's a little piece of a word that goes at the beginning of a base word. So prefixes are added to the beginning of a base word. Suffixes are added to the end of a base word. Now, here's the tricky part. You might be like, oh, well, a root goes in the middle. Well, sometimes. A root is actually the main part of the word. So you have a root and then you can build onto it. So a root might have a prefix, so then it would be a prefix and a root, so then it'd technically be at the end. Or it might have a root and a suffix, and then it'd be at the beginning, or a root might have a prefix at the beginning of it and a suffix at the end of it. So basically, the root is the main part of the word, and you build onto that main part. Today, we're going to look at the prefix anti, and first of all, you'll notice that I have a little line after anti indicating anti is a prefix, meaning there's going to be something after it. Anti would be added to the beginning of words. Now, most of our prefixes, suffixes, and roots actually come from either Greek or Latin, and you will see that in a lot of European languages. So anti comes from Greek and several European languages, French, Italian, German, Spanish, will use those same prefixes in their languages. So if you learn some of these prefixes, it helps you when you learn another language. But anti comes from Greek. And anti means against or opposite of, or you're opposed to it. So when you see anti at the beginning of a word, if it's using that prefix, again, it means against or opposite of or being opposed to it. So we're going to look at a couple words that use anti. So the first one we're going to look at is anti-slavery. Now, if we literally define that, if anti means against, anti-slavery means against slavery. One sentence, Abraham Lincoln was anti-slavery and worked to abolish it. Again, he was against slavery. Sometimes it's a little harder. Antisocial, we could put that pretty straightforward and say not social, but sometimes it's maybe a little more complicated than that. If someone is antisocial, yes, they're against being social, but really they don't want the company of others. They'd rather be by themselves. Here's a sample sentence with antisocial. The girl seemed antisocial and wouldn't talk with anyone. Okay, the next word is antifreeze. You'll notice sometimes the pronunciation might be a little different, but this is pronounced antifreeze. Antifreeze is a liquid used to lower the freezing point. So basically, it works against freezing by lowering that freezing point. So here's a sentence. He refilled the antifreeze in the car before winter hit. So again, antifreeze looks like this and comes in a variety of colors, but you put that in there to keep the liquid from freezing. It prevents freezing. The next one is antibiotic. Antibiotic. An antibiotic basically works against infections or kills the infections. So you might have antibiotic ointment that, is trying to prevent infections on a wound, or you might take an antibiotic pill. So here's your sentence. My sister was sick, so the doctor prescribed an antibiotic. Again, antibiotic, something that works against infections. Okay, now you are going to fill in your application sheet. So if you rewatch this video, again, anti means against or opposite of. We went over several example words. You're going to insert a picture that represents anti to you, and then you're going to write your own sentence using either one of these example words or another word that uses anti.